Welcome back to the Hard Knock Sorority podcast, Omes. This is a 4th edition Shadowrun actual play GM'd by myself, Paul, and played by Veronika as Cecile, aka College Girl, Kat as Diendre, Val as Ollie, aka Boxer, and Beth as Grace, aka Nightingale. This is episode 13 of season 2. We introduce a new player to the game. Dexxx is joining the team as Grimm, a human drone operator. We immediately throw him into combat as he joins the rescue effort to get Ollie, Diendre, and Kaylee out of the hospital. Cecile gets rescued, sort of, by Kirsten again. Kirsten is all business this time around. How much of the bubbly but slightly ditzy college girl is an act? Finally, there do seem to be continued consequences to some of the team's earliest actions. And now, in other Shadowrun news, as I mentioned before, Mr. Johnson of the Arcology podcast has resumed that foundational show. Sinless is continuing season 3, and the team over at Resting Glitchface are about halfway through their final season. For the last year and a half or so, I've been doing a chronological read-through of published Shadowrun fiction. It's been a lot of fun revisiting some of the classics like Jordan Weissman's Intro to the Shadows and Nigel Findlay and Nick Smith's amazing contributions. My most recent reads have been the Russell Zimmerman Blackbird series. It's a great ride through the Shadowrun timeline. As always, Zimmerman really brings characters new and old to life, and his knowledge of the Shadowrun canon really shine in this series. We also briefly meet several other Zimmerman characters as they make an appearance. Hope you enjoy the show.
Okay. Silence. We need good intro audio for Paul.
All right, you asked for it. Here comes the intro. All right, today's intro is titled The New Shadow Riders. Our cutscene starts with a text graphic in red grid title letters, The New Shadow Riders, that fades away, leaving us with the view of an office filled with cubicles and smaller offices lining the walls. In one of the offices sits a younger male human who's familiar to our viewers. We know him as an erstwhile Mr. Johnson, whose real name is Dante DeVries. The office fades away to a scrolling exposition wall of text. Dante was the team's first Mr. J, but also a useful patsy for the mysterious fixer Prokop Skillful. The job was a simple case of finding and making contact with Mr. Johnson's former intern, in whose friendly nature he had mistaken a romantic feeling. Naturally, things did not go Dante's way, and the target of the run, a Miss Kimberly Antonson, made her desire for no further contact clear, including involving her Knight-Errant Academy trainer, Sergeant Ansel. Ultimately, though, the run was a setup designed by Prokop to lure Sergeant Ansel out of the Knight-Errant Academy and into close proximity of the former Shadowrunner Ice, who Prokop had added to the team. The purpose of this was to confirm the identity of the sergeant as a former Lone Star captain, George Van Housen. It turned out that Prokop and Ice had a history with George Van Housen dating back to the 2050s, when he led a notorious off-books Black Ops team called the Shadow Riders, who targeted Shadowrunners. With exposition out of the way, we fade back into the scene at hand. We see an AR display pop up on the ostentatious but cheap goggles that Dante DeVries wears. They are styled after the Shadowrunner goggles featured in the popular Trid Slade the Sniper. The AR display is a feed from his comlink. In the window, we see an image of a young human woman. Her hair is pulled back in a severe ponytail. She wears no makeup, and the backdrop of the video feed is a plain white. The look on her face is one of purely disguised anger and disgust. However, Dante's face seems to light up at the sight of her. Yes, you guessed it, in one. It's Kim Antonsen, the former intern who spurned Dante's advances. We aren't getting audio, but the two have a brief conversation in which Kim's expression does not change, but Dante's becomes more and more animated. Finally, the AR window closes and we watch as Dante hurriedly collects his jacket and locks the door of his office behind him. He has a brief discussion with a young orc in a cubicle and then leaves the office. We cut to the street, where Dante is jumping into a green cab. Our camera flies after the green cab as it heads through the suburbs of Renton towards the Redmond Barrens. In the vicinity of Old Town, on the edge of the Barrens, the green cab pulls into the parking lot of what appears to be an abandoned warehouse and disgorges our wannabe shadowrunner Dante before heading back towards safety with an unexpected burst of speed. Dante looks around expectantly, but nothing happens. Then a matte black GMC Bulldog pulls into the parking lot and stops in front of him. Dante smiles hesitantly as the sliding side door opens and several metahumans in black combat armor, helmets, and pistols aimed at him jump out. They surround and restrain him as he offers only meek and token resistance. Then they drag him into the van, and it disappears towards the Barrens. Our camera follows the black van as it speeds through checkpoints and crosses the border into the nightmare of destruction and neglect that is Redmond. It stops at a gang checkpoint, and after a brief exchange is waved through. It finally slows and pulls into the rubble of what was once a small apartment building. Dante is dragged from the van by his captors, looking much the worse for wear. His goggles are missing and his face is bruised and bloodied. We cut to a view of the inside of what must be a space inside of the ruins that has been cleared out. The bare concrete walls and floor are showing the signs of fire and neglect. The floor is damp with puddles that reflect the light of bright construction lamps that have been set up facing inward around a broken chair that has fallen over. Strapped to the chair is Dante DeVries. He appears to be unconscious and has been severely beaten and tortured. Blood spatters on the floor tell the tale of violence. Standing over him is Kimberly Antonsen, wearing the black combat armor. Her helmet has been removed and her face is flushed from exertion. Her fists are balled at her side. Outside of the circle of light stand several other metahumans, diverse in metatype, wearing the same armor. There is also a work table at which another member of the team appears to be jacked into Dante's goggles. He holds up a hand and yells, "I've got it!" The team turns towards him as he makes a hand gesture and flips them an arrow. The little shit wasn't lying. It's all here. We see a TRID display of what we can only infer is a video feed from Dante's goggles. We see the inside of a diner. We see our team of runners sitting at the table looking at the camera with varying degrees of distrust and disgust. We see Boxer and Diendre, and a dog in a wizard's hat. We see Ice and Cecile, whose look of revulsion could be from the greasy barbecue on the platter on the table or Dante. "Gotcha," exclaims Kim. Then the Decker holds up his hands again. "Hey guys, you gotta see this." He flips another arrow up next to the recording from Dante's goggles. It is a video feed from downtown Auburn, filmed from a news drone operated by Newsnet. The sprawling Chiron exclaims, "Bombing in downtown Auburn. Metahuman rights terrorists claim responsibility." The news drone's camera pans across the scene of carnage and destruction in front of Hazel's bar, and the Decker freezes the frame with a quick motion. "This is happening right now," he says excitedly. "Look closer. What do you see?" Kim peers at the image of the feed. "Enhance," she says. The Decker responds with some quick motions that remove any motion blur and artifacting from the image and zooms in, then highlights several figures. In frame, we clearly see Boxer aiding the victims of the bombing. Diendre is heading toward her motorcycle, and in the far corner we see Grace's form outlined against the dark alleyway she is slinking into. Kim's face glows with vindication. "That's the scum that killed Sarge. Fragging terrorist shadow scum. They tried to frame Sarge as a shadow rider." She looks around at the others, like that's a bad thing. "I'm proud of Sarge, and if he was a shadow rider, then I am a shadow rider, because we are going to hunt them down and finish what he started." The rest of the team murmurs in assent. Sarge always had our back, now it's our turn to have his. They put their fists together and shout, "Shadow Riders," together in unison, followed by "For Sarge." Kim spins around and draws her Ares Predator and empties it into Dante's prone body. And we cut.
Oh, I guess he got what was coming to him.
I am so excited for us to have the police after us.
I think they're doing this vigilante style.
Yeah, I also think they're doing it vigilante style.
But they are the police.
By that metric, Diendre is also the police.
I get the feeling they want to do some things that are quite within their jurisdiction as police to us.
Yeah, Dante got what was coming to him. Well, might be a little bit harsh.
Also, do I have this right? Did you say DeVries?
Yeah, but don't mistake that for Alice DeVry.
See, I thought it was DeVries.
Very close, but...
Good thing my face wasn't anywhere on that video feed.
Plausible deniability. Look, man, I just got here.
I just say, you know what?
Speaking of your face, let's start with Grimm. Why don't you describe Grimm for the team?
All right. 5'7", late teen, with short curly black hair with pink streaks, a loose-fitting black suit with an incorrectly tied tie, a pair of blacked-out shades, and a tribal bio tattoo in a fluorescent pink that curls up the cheek. The demeanor is shy but observant.
All right, so Grimm you're hanging out in the lobby of your favorite AR game, which is, I believe, like a mill sim.
Yes, Miracle Shooter.
It's a VR game called Miracle Shooter, one of the most popular mill sim VR games, which actually I believe Boxer is familiar with too. You're hanging out in the lobby of your favorite server, getting ready to enter the game when you get a pop-up in your feed from your comm link that you've got a comm call coming in from your friend Felix.
I immediately take the call.
Who is Felix and what's your relationship to Felix?
Felix is an interesting fella. He doesn't tell most people, but he is he did do some shadow running in his past. He's not doing it anymore. He kind of acts as a father figure for me these days. I did some work for him here and there, and he's kind of taken me under his wing. He's loaned me a bit of money. Now I'm utilizing that money to hopefully get into some running myself.
And what's he like?
He's short, but he's good-hearted, but definitely shouldn't cross him. He's definitely seen some stuff in his time, and he's not afraid to put people in their place.
All right, so you have a fairly good, friendly relationship with him.
Yeah.
Do you have a particular kind of voice that you associate with him?
He's pretty gruff.
I know Val has a contact who I once gave a voice to without asking her that, and it turned out to be very different than what she was anticipating.
Give him the most off the wall. No, just kidding.
All right, so you answer the comm call, and Felix says, "Hey kid."
Hey Felix, what's up?
Listen, I got a line on some work.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think you should something you should consider too. Not that I'm putting any kind of pressure on you, but eventually I do want to see my money back.
Yeah, yep. Okay.
And could be a good opportunity to learn.
Yeah, I'm always up for that.
I don't know. Have you been watching the Tridcasts?
Not lately. I've been gaming.
Well, get out of the game and pop open a news feed from Newsnet.
Okay, one sec. Oh, okay. Oh.
You pop open the news feed from Newsnet, and you immediately get blasted with all sorts of pop-ups and banners and windows from various drones and choppers and local bystanders. Apparently, there's been a terrible bombing in downtown Auburn at a local bar, and there are dozens of injured and several killed. And it sounds like the attack has been claimed by a terrorist organization. It's a meta-human rights group that before now has always been known for defending meta-human rights protests and things like that. They've never been known to be violent, but apparently you see a video of their leader claiming responsibility and brandishing weapons.
Wow. Okay. What side of this am I going to be on? And is this really the best for my learning, or is this seems a bit intense?
Yeah, you're not getting involved in this, kid, but
okay.
Well, tangentially. Let's just say it's tangential. So
oh, okay.
I have a friend who has some associates that need extraction.
Okay.
from the area.
Oh gosh.
I've been told and assured that they are not involved, or at least not responsible. Yes, let's just leave it at that.
All right. Gotta get the van cleaned up.
Well, you need to hurry. Time is of the essence. I've been told that there are potentially warrants out for the people we've got to extract.
Okay.
Plan is that you're going to pick them up in Auburn and extract them to Tacoma.
Okay, I can do that. All right.
He sends you a address, and he says the first two that you need to pick up are at the hospital downtown.
All right.
And then he sends you a picture of them. One of the people that you're being asked to extract is an elven woman of indeterminate age wearing, Kat, why don't you describe how Diendre appears in photographs?
So Diender's picture probably comes with a lengthy description. Obviously her facial structure is still the same. You see this kind of tired look on her face, many scars covering the front of it. They obviously age her up. One of her ears is cut off about 2/3 down it, and she has these bright green eyes, bright auburn hair.
And
The
she's an
description
elf.
says something about like the skin appearing green and viney, and eyes becoming like eyes succumbing to the illusion, or some like vague description of them. But other than that, you don't get much else.
And she's an elf.
Yeah.
And the other image is Boxer. How does Boxer appear?
She's relatively lean, but the muscular sandy tan fur looks a little bit like what you'd expect of a predatory cat, and you're not entirely sure how that kind of face could show emotions. She does somehow. She holds herself. She has this bearing of confidence, self-assurance.
So these are the two targets that you're to extract at the hospital, and then he shoots over a third picture, which is an orc woman that you recognize as a street doc, a local street doc called Kaylee.
Okay. I know them.
Felix says, yeah, it sounds like the street doc Kaylee was injured in the blast, and Knight Errant has a warrant out to take her in for questioning. She's considered a person of interest in the bombing, and so are the other two. I've been assured that they are not, in fact, involved, but just were at the wrong place at the wrong time. So the people who have contacted me for this extraction will let the contacts know, the targets of the extraction know that they should be expecting you. The Catwoman's name is Boxer. The elf is called Deer, something elfish with a D and an R.
Okay.
And obviously you know Kaylee.
Yep.
He then shoots over another image, and he says, I don't know quite what to make of this kid, but apparently it's either a paracritter or some kind of free spirit, and the whereabouts are currently unknown. But if you see this thing, it's to be extracted as well. Bonus will be paid for finding it and extracting it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that one definitely looks interesting. Okay.
The picture is what you can only be described as a unicorn. It is a pony with a horn, and it doesn't match any description of any paracritter that you've ever heard of. But then again, things are pretty weird in the Sixth World, so you've seen plenty of weird and strange things and heard of even weirder and stranger things happening around the world.
All right. And these are the ones that I need to pick up. This is all of them.
That is all of them, and like I said, start with the ones at the hospital.
Okay.
Once you have gotten them and confirmed to me that you have them all safely loaded, I will give you the location to take them to.
Okay.
And like
do
I
that.
said, bonus for the free spirit or whatever that is. The run will pay $5,000 if you can extract all 3 targets from the hospital, and an extra $2,000 for the unicorn or whatever it is. And Obviously, we want them undamaged and the extraction to go off without being traced to the extraction point. Does that all make sense to you?
Yep. I will call you whenever I have them.
One more thing. The security in Auburn currently is very tight. Knight Errant has riot force control forces out in the streets. There are checkpoints. Make sure that you are running a strong SIN, my lad.
Okay. All right. I'll get some gear together.
Don't screw this up. This could be your entry point to the big time.
All right.
He signs off.
All right. Graham, I'm leaving. And then I grab a bag and...
Do you often just leave in the middle of the night?
Yeah. She doesn't really ask. She's also hard of hearing, so she probably didn't even hear that.
Okay, where are you going?
So I'm going to go get into my van.
Okay, so you go down into the streets of Auburn. Auburn is known as the industrial sort of heartland of Seattle, and it's very working class. There's a lot of industry. Auburn is humming 24/7 with trucks and trains and aircraft and just the sound of industry and the smell of industry. But tonight you notice a different tension in the air as you leave the rundown apartment building that you live in. The streets are almost empty. The people that you see normally sort of leisurely walking around, going to bars and eating at street vendor carts and things like that seem to be all hurrying home as fast as possible. The minute you leave the building, how does your you've got an embedded comm link, right?
Yep.
And so are you generally running with VR up?
VR or AR?
Yes, AR, sorry.
Yeah, usually.
So the minute you step out onto the streets, your AR starts popping up notices and warnings similar to what you would get nowadays, like alerts on your cell phone about, weather or this or that. You start getting pop-ups that are overriding your comms settings and just sort of blasting the screen with warnings that there's a curfew in place, that everybody should be returning indoors from 9 p.m. to 7 a.m., and that all orders from police are to be followed. Looters will be shot on sight, and if you do not have a SIN, you are ordered to report to the nearest Knight Errant facility.
All right.
And it is currently 10 p.m.
So I try to duck under the not the advertisement, but the news warning, and I try to get to the van as quick as possible.
Yeah, the news warning pops up like a big banner in front of you, and you instinctively duck under it and get to the van. What does your van look like?
It's a little bit used. It's not in perfect shape. I have done some maintenance on it, and I've tried to clean it up as best as possible, but it's more about what's inside than what's on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
So I hop in and...
What every rigger says.
Yeah. So I hop in and I try to move some stuff out of the way so that there's a little bit more areas to put people. And I make sure that I have everything accounted for, and I throw my bag in the back. And then I hit the road.
Are you jumping in or are you driving manually?
I'm probably going to jump in.
All right. You jack in, and immediately the sensation of being the vehicle overcomes you. Feel the engine come to life and the systems in the van come to life. You check your drone racks. All of the drones come back with all clears. Everything seems to be running well. Are you going to connect to Grid Guide? Grid Guide's basically the overarching traffic control system that operates through the matrix that most vehicles operate.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so you connect to the Grid Guide, and I imagine you enter the directions for the destination as being the hospital, and get rolling. The feel of asphalt under your wheels and excitement of a job in play.
Yeah, eager.
We are going to cut to Cecile at this point, who is hanging out at Diender's apartment and is working on some matrix things that she's got going on. And Cecile, you see are you VR or AR?
AR.
You only do AR. Yeah, that's right. Comm call comes up from an unlisted number. but you see a little icon next to it which you associate with your friend Kirsten.
We'll leave it for like 3 minutes. She's busy. And then she opens. Who is this?
Hey, it's Kirsten. What's going on, Cecile?
To hear from you. I'm working on business.
I see. You are in Auburn, right?
Yeah, at the moment. Can't exactly leave.
Yeah, about that. And there's a knock on the door.
Is that you?
Could you let me in?
Oh, jeez. She goes ahead and opens the door.
The girl Kirsten breezes in with her light blue bob cut hair, and she's wearing a armored jacket that you haven't seen on her before. It's a little bit more militaristic than you're used to seeing her wearing, and she has an Ares Predator strapped to her hip.
Well, you look like you're... What have you been doing?
I'm coming to get you out of Auburn.
I'm sorry, get me out of Auburn?
Yes, it's not safe for you at the moment here.
Oh.
So Procop's asked me to get you out.
Okay, what about Kaylee?
We have other assets in play taking care of that side of things.
Sets in play? You sound like a spy, Kirsten.
She looks right at you and she says, Cecile, I am a spy.
Of course you are.
I've had an RFID tag on you for the last 2 weeks.
Ow. Probably should have seen that coming. Fine, let's go.
She hands you a motorcycle helmet.
Oh, jeez.
She leads you downstairs. She turns back to you and she says,
Wait, Cecile's about to leave, and then she goes, we need to get something. And she packs all the clothes that she's bought into, like, 2 bags.
Cecile's looking at you, sort of tapping her toes, just sort of rolls her eyes like, gosh, Cecile, seriously, you're going to have to learn how to get better at this.
Better at what? Leaving on short notice when there's a lockdown order?
Yes, exactly. You need a go bag, girl.
I haven't exactly set up my life to be able to just drop and leave.
Diendre has probably impressed upon Cecile multiple times that if she is leaving the apartment and Diendre is not there, grab her go bag because it'll be fine. It's not in Cecile's best interest, but it's probably there.
Yeah, but Cecile's not going to take your go bag if you still need it.
How do you know I still need it? And also, I have other stuff in that apartment.
Okay.
If it's just you thinking about leaving the apartment quickly, there is just a go bag.
Cecile's not taking the go bag. She just wants to leave. She's like, I was in the middle of something. This is frustrating.
Plus, she's last 2 weeks, just leaving has helped her out quite a bit. There was that one time she wishes she had just left earlier when she got blood on her clothes, but all the other times she left early, things went her way.
This is true.
So Kirsten leads you grab your 2 bags, and Kirsten leads you down the stairwell into the street. There's a motorcycle parked there, and she grabs her helmet off of it, puts it on, and turns to you and says, just strap that to the back of the bike.
Helmet?
You're going to need to hold on to me. We're going to be moving fast. No, your bags, silly. You're going to wear the helmet.
Sorry, I need a moment. I didn't realize how ditzy I am today. Oh.
She's just looking at you exasperated, like, my God.
Yeah, Cecile does all that. Also, when I said bag, I meant like the shopping bag she bought them in.
Oh, God. So Cecile, I imagine, makes sort of a rather awkward attempt to fix the bags to the bike. And at some point, Kirsten just walks back there and grabs them and stuffs them into the storage compartments. She's like, there, fine. We need to get out of here, Cecile. This area is not safe.
Okay, whatever you say.
Have you heard from Boxer or Diendre in the last 2 or 3 hours?
No? Well, Diendre, yes. In fact, I was working on the surveillance footage from the bombing.
He looks around. She sort of shushes you with her finger. Let's not talk about that out on the street. I don't mean to sound paranoid.
You do sound paranoid. You sound like the most paranoid person I've ever met, Kirsten.
Well, it's probably with good reason. Being around you isn't exactly healthy.
Take offense.
Well, fine. Maybe we can go back to my apartment and steady or something, but that'll make you feel better. But I don't think that's really in the cards right now.
Fine, let's just leave.
All right, get on the bike. Let's go.
Being around me is dangerous. You're the one with the go bag.
Yeah, I have a go bag because I work around people like you.
It's just going to be an endless back and forth of that for the entire drive.
Yeah, so as you get on the bike and start zipping through the streets of Auburn, Kirsten is definitely dodging knight errant patrols and checkpoints, and you guys are just bickering back and forth, pretty much in the same vein the whole way to Tacoma. And in the vicinity of the Tacoma docks, Kirsten pulls into a small parking lot of a sort of rundown, not a house and not a warehouse or something, but it looks like it was a building that might have been used as a light industry kind of manufacturing facility. And the garage door opens. She rolls in. There's some lighting, but it's a bit dark. You see big boxes of stuff and everything just sort of a bit run down. And Cecile gets off the bike. She stops the bike, gets off, and pulls off her helmet, and she says, "All right, so we're supposed to be meeting some of your colleagues here in a little bit. We're going to need to hang tight. Can you, is your comlink, have you secured your comlink?"
Yes, I've secured it very recently. What, do you want me to change my access code again?
It might be for the best, don't you think?
Yes. Just start changing her access code yet again.
She's sort of leaning up against the bike, one hand on the grip of the pistol, the other holding her helmet, and she's sort of staring off into the middle distance. She seems distracted. And at that point, we're going to cut to Boxer and Diendre at the hospital. Both of you are at this time in the room with Kaylee.
I assume I'm bandaged up and not 3 hits away from death still.
That is correct. So make a body times 2 plus 4 test for us.
Body plus 4. Wow, a 1.
Did that roll correctly?
Yeah, I rolled body plus 4.
Yeah.
On this, you want me to do it differently.
Nope, and you got 1 hit. So you
debating
only,
if I should edge that.
If you leave it as is, you've only regained 1 point on your physical tracker.
Yeah, I'm gonna spin an edge and
Don't forget you have
re-roll
bad
that
luck.
entirely. Oh yeah, I have to roll for bad luck. Thank you, Ro. Well, that's a 6, so we don't bad luck. But body times body. That's 2.
Wow, not a great roll.
Diendra's just not good at healing. Her body's never done well putting itself back together, especially in a city.
The doctors tried to patch you up as best as they could, but they were definitely getting some weird reading on their med kits. They weren't quite sure what to do, so they just treated you like you were any other elf, and basically just sort of shrugged and said, "Well, that's all we got for now, and there's more severely injured. We're going to have to go take care of them." And then you found Kaylee's room, and Boxer was already there. So now you and Boxer are sitting in Kaylee's room. Actually, she's not alone in the room. It's a larger room. There are 6 other patients from the bombing in the room. The beds are separated by screens. So you're both sitting there, and Kaylee is still unconscious and hooked up to an IV and other systems that seem to be recording and monitoring her heartbeat and things like that. And you both get a message on your comlink, and it's from Kirsten. And the message simply says, well, it's different for each of you. So Boxer, you get a message from Kirsten that says that you and Kaylee have been identified as persons of interest in the bombing of Hazel's Bar, and that somebody who you have worked for is sending an asset to extract you and Kaylee and Diendre, and that you should expect them any moment. And you get a picture of a young man with some pink streaks in his hair and a pink tattoo, and the name Grimm.
She acknowledges the message, like literally just writes acknowledged, and also adds that if possible to hit her apartment, she provides address and methods of entry, like codes to get her go back, and another duffel too.
And Grace?
She assumes that Grace is already getting taken.
Okay. So you send the message. You don't get an immediate reply. Diendre, you get a message on your comlink from Kirsten, and it says that you've been identified as a person of interest in the bombing, and that there is a warrant for your arrest in play. She's attached to the message is a picture of you taken from a camera feed, and a little smiley emoji that says, I think it might be hard for them to find you though. And then it says, stick with Boxer. We're sending someone in to get you out of Auburn.
I think Diendre has probably just been like bandaged up and given a few painkillers, like not too much. And without thinking, she just shoots off an like affirmative response in Sporethiel and then starts typing a question. And I don't think she realized she's written her question in Sporethiel until she sends it. And it's just, what does our exfiltrator look like? But in Sporethiel.
You don't get a call back. So you're both sitting there. You both get the comm messages. Are you communicating with each other or doing anything else?
I think Diendre just like opens her mouth, but then closes it and just turns her comlink around to Boxer.
So you show your comlink to Boxer?
Yeah.
Same message. Can that thing even receive AR flicks?
I think Diendre, like, she already looked a little. Now she moves up her face. No.
Then, friend who is coming. White male, curly, black hair. Apparently they'll be coming in a van. I'll be able to identify them. But, guys, I don't know how long it'll be until someone else get to sign you in at the front desk, and that shit's online. Nothing we can do about it. Damn it.
At that moment, your comlink rings with an incoming comlink call, Boxer, and you see that it's from your friend Vicente.
Chicks abs.
Boxer, what's going on?
Apparently, we are people of interest in the bombing. Where I am, me and my associate.
You're not just people of interest, Boxer. You're being named as the prime suspect. They're just not trying to say it out loud.
Fuck. Anyone can see the damn video feeds that I came in outside location and provided medical. Fuck.
Boxer, this is Night Errant we're talking about. This is the local precinct. I told you they sent me out of town just to get me out of the way. But I'm telling you, they've got your name, they've got your apartment, they've got your address. They're saying that you and Kaylee are the leaders, the ringleaders in the attack.
Damn it. Alright, thank you. Should maintain distance. Once things cool down more and it's safer, I'll contact you.
Tell me you haven't actually been in contact with the Metahuman Brigade at all.
You'd think they'd let me contact them? They'd sooner see my brain splattered against a wall. Kaylee's too.
Well, this Dexxx really, this is getting intense. You need to get yourself out of Auburn ASAP.
I'm on it.
There's they've got a unit out looking for you. They've got pictures circulating of you and the elf and the horse. They know who you are.
3 of the most fucking conspicuous people in this damn city. Of course.
He laughs. Yeah, you said it. Alright, keep your head down, Boxer. I can't do anything at the moment because I'm all the way over in Tacoma. But if I hear anything, I'll do my best to let you know.
Got it. Keep safe.
You too. And get the hell out of Auburn. Oh, just before you hang up, he said, oh, sorry. How's Kaylee doing?
She's stable, I think.
Are you with her?
I am.
Okay. Well, you're going to need to get her out too because, like I said, they're saying that you and her planned this bombing and the bomb got triggered early.
I'll get her out if I have to carry her.
Good. Take care of yourselves. And he hangs up.
I think the second Boxer hangs up, Diendre says something to her in Sporethiel, and it takes her like
Sporethiel's knowledge.
a unless Boxer like immediately responds, it's going to take Diendre like a solid 30 seconds to figure out that she's not understood.
Well, I get to roll to see if I actually understand everyone. She has been taking lesson online because you speak in Sporethiel so often.
Yes.
So that's like very bare understanding, I think.
So what did you say?
Diendre is saying something like, I can feel my hands, but English is hard.
All right, Grimm, at this point, you're starting to pull up into the neighborhood where the hospital is, and you see a ton of first responder vehicles, flashing emergency lights, the black and gold livery of Night Errant security all over the place. And as you're pulling into the parking lot, there's a Night Errant cruiser and 2 Night Errant soldiers. They're not really police officers at this point. They're wearing
full riot gear and helmets. They wave you over to stop.
Oh God. All right. I guess I don't need them on my tail. So, all right. I pull over.
All right, you pull over, and one of them knocks on the window and makes the roll it down motion.
I guess I have a question. Is it weird for me to be jacked in, or should I be just normally driving this thing?
No, it's not weird.
Okay. I roll it down.
The knight errant soldier looks at you and he says, actually, first he sort of waves his hand in front of your eyes to see if you can see him because you're jacked in. Are you in full VR, I guess?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're seeing him do all this sort of through various camera feeds that are implanted in the vehicle. And when you speak to him, you're basically speaking through the sound system in the van. He says, "Hey, can you hear me?"
Yep. What's up?
And Riggers never get used to this.
I
What's your business? Why are you here?
I am headed home.
You're headed home?
Yeah.
It looks like you're headed towards the hospital.
Well, I had to pick up my my grandma and bring her home.
Oh, she's at the she's a patient?
Yep.
All right, hang on. We're going to scan your SIN. He waves at the other officer, and the other officer comes up. He's holding sort of a small device in his hand. Which SIN are you running at the moment?
I'm running my rating for fake SIN.
What's the name on it?
Johnny on the spot.
Johnny on the spot.
Yeah, on the spot is French.
All right. They scan your SIN, and he says, "Well, we got to check it against the patient records. Does the patient record match the your name?"
No.
All right.
She's my stepmom's grandma. Or mom, sorry.
What's her name?
Her name? Candace.
Candace. You can see him looking at something in AR, and he says, "Sure, if we've got a Candace. Candace is. Wait a minute. Was she a victim in the bombing?"
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You should have said so. Okay. Well, yeah, you can go in, but I wouldn't hang around too long. We're getting ready to lock this down and really start enforcing this curfew. I mean, you're human and all, so you're good, but still, I have a feeling the metas are going to start rioting any minute here, so if I were you, I'd get yourself and your grandmother home.
All right. Sounds good. Will do.
He waves you. So out of character, point of interest here. What he just said was very
Humanist.
Yeah, clearly indicative of some racist humanist polyclub attitude. So
sorry for the delay. I was cracking up because you had to say a name. Oh, jeez.
Journée on the spot.
Johnny sur place.
Johnny sur place.
Spot being in French.
That's a pretty good name.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I said. Retcon.
So back into character. You probably registered that. I don't know what Grimm's attitude is towards that kind of thing, but I figured you should know.
Yeah.
And as you're pulling into the parking lot at the front of the hospital, you see another black van has pulled up ahead of you, and a number of figures are jumping out of it wearing full black combat armor, helmets, and guns, and are running into the building.
Oh, gosh.
And they are followed by a drone that you recognize, a Steel Lynx with mounting a machine gun.
Oh my goodness. All right. I guess I want to call Felix again. Maybe he can help me figure out who my my pickup is or where they are if they're not in visible range.
You don't see them in visible range, and Felix answers immediately. Kid, what's going on?
Things are heating up at the hospital. I need to know the context so that I can get a hold of them, because
you can. By the way, you can, especially when you're in AR or VR, and when you're jumped into the vehicle, you can basically any video and audio or sensor feeds that you've got going on, especially with your TAC network, you can immediately feed to anybody that you're talking to on your comlink. So you could immediately
completely turn on the camera and show him what's transpiring.
Yep. So on the video feed that you're sending him, you're both watching this what can only be described as a a tactical team, probably Knight Errant, although they're not wearing any kind of insignia or badges. A tactical team of 4 officers, followed by a Steel Lynx drone mounting a medium machine gun on it, are rolling towards the entrance of the building, and several Knight Errant officers are in like a ready position as if they don't know what's happening, and then as the other team gets close to them, they seem to recognize them or get some kind of stand down order and sort of get out of the way of the strike team. And Felix says, "Oh, frag. Kid, you need to get in there. They're after your targets."
Yeah. Do you know of another entrance, or is this is the fastest way in?
If you go in through that, you'll be following right on their heels, kid. Hang on. He shoots you over a floor plan of the hospital, and you see that there are several entrances marked with the various types of services offered, radiology, all that kind of good stuff. You're currently at the emergency room exit. He says, head over to radiology, and he highlights a stairwell and an elevator. Head up here, and then he highlights the room, and he says, I'll be back online in a second. I need to warn them. And he cuts off.
All right, I'm sweating bullets. I try to get the best parking spot to get me closest to radiology, and then I unlink and I head in.
Roll edge. Roll an edge test.
Oh, and I put attribute edge. There you go.
All right. With 2 hits, you roll too many dice.
Oh God.
You have an edge of 4, right?
Yeah.
Just click on the edge button.
I did.
You rolled 8 dice.
That worked. Nope, that's...
There you go.
Sorry.
All right, so with 1 hit, you find a parking spot decently close to the entrance of radiology, and it has the benefit of being facing out, so you should be able to pull out and hurry if you have to.
Okay.
You said you were jacking out?
Yes. And I head in.
You yourself are physically heading in?
Is it common for drones to just be flying through buildings?
No, but this might not be a common situation either.
All right. Then in that case, I will unlink from the van, and I will link up with the Ford LEBD one.
What's that? What kind of drone is that again?
It's a medium drone.
Is it a roto drone?
Jeez.
DM drone even fit inside of the hospital halls? Are the doors?
Yeah, it depends on what size it is. Medium is what size?
Like lawnmower size.
What's the propulsion method? It's not if it's an airplane, it's not going to work obviously, but if it's a roto drone, it's like our current drones.
It is a small, here you go. You got it's like a small.
So it's a roto drone. It's a small helicopter.
Yeah.
All right, you jump into the drone and immediately become the drone, firing up the rotors and the sensors. You're getting the feed from your sensors and from the smart gun system that's linked up to the sniper rifle attached to the drone.
Yeah.
And what are you doing?
I head in the entrance that Felix told me was probably the quickest
so
method
to the destination. You're basically going to follow the schematic?
Yeah. And I guess I want to stay in a location that is somewhat concealed if possible with the drone. Like if there's like a emergency staircase, I try to stay in that as much as possible until I can get like a read from Felix if they actually have my location, the targets that I'm trying to pick up. I'm not trying to completely blow my cover here.
We're going to cut away for a moment as both Diendre and Boxer get an alert on their comm link. It's a simple text message saying, heads up, incoming hostiles. It's followed by another text message that says, your ride is outside in a van, and a picture of a black van. And sort of a quick schematic showing that if you head out through oncology, did I say oncology or radiology? If you head out through radiology, you'll exit out to where that van is.
I think Diendre just doesn't attempt to read it and then just looks at Boxer.
We have to go. I'll carry her. You just... Can you take points?
What's Boxer's body compared to Diendre?
I think it should be 3. It's 3.
Mine's 4. So Diendere's gonna stop you from picking Kaylee up and Kaylee up.
All right. You get Kaylee up over your shoulder in a fireman's carry.
And then Diendre will say something in his breath again.
All right, Boxer. You get to roll his breath heal again, and one more hit.
Well, in like vague notions, it's like a reassurance that I should be able to walk. I just can't speak English.
I'll take point then. And she, after a moment's hesitation, draws her handgun from her holster and leads the way.
All right. Out in the hallway, people immediately start noticing your handgun and your drawn gun, and the fact that...
Does Diendre have her sword?
I think Diendre does have her sword. She had it with her when the bomb went off and she was helping the people, so she would have it.
Take it from her at the hospital?
No. They didn't take her sword or Boxer's handgun.
That's good. Though weird.
Yeah. Swords and handguns are not uncommon or considered highly dangerous, except for now when they're drawn by Boxer. So you guys come out into the hallway. Boxer's got her pistol in a ready stance, and you've got Kaylee, who's still unconscious, in a fireman's carry. And yeah, I guess it's time for some initiative, because as you come out into the hallway, you see a strike team coming up out of the stairwell, and the minute they see you, one of them yells, "Contact left!" The other thing, I think, since you're jumped into the drone, I feel like you do, as the rotors on your drone start to they grab the air and lift you up out of the rack in the vehicle that you were just piloting a moment ago, you zip across the street through the sliding doors. A couple of docs and nurses sort of scatter as your drone comes flying through the window. The drone's, like you said, about the size of a lawnmower, and you've got a large sniper rifle mounted to it. They start screaming, and somebody hits a panic button somewhere that starts going off. You give us a piloting roll. Pilot aircraft. You got a lot of hits on that roll. 9 hits. Like, out of all of the dice that you rolled, only 2 were not hits.
Oof.
Yeah, so you're flying this drone like, I mean, it feels like a second. It feels like it's you. You're just catching all of the turns and corners right. You're gauging the distance to the stairwell just right as you get into the emergency stairwell and start heading up it. This is probably some of the best flying that you've done in a long time. You know, you're feeling the adrenaline, and as you come out into the hallway where you know you need to turn right and head down to where your extraction targets are, you see your targets. You see the Catwoman with a readied pistol coming out of the door, followed by the elf woman carrying the orc. And then just as you're seeing that, on the other side of them, you see the strike team that you saw entering the building, coming up out of the stairwell and seeing them and turning towards them. They are probably about 25 meters from you. It's a little bit of a difficult shot at this point because the extraction targets are between you and the strike team. How do you want to proceed?
I guess I'd ask if the floor plan allows me to circle the location enough to be able to get around the combat, but to flank it.
So you're in a hallway. You would not be able to unless you either went out into one of the doors on the side of the hallway and maybe through a window and back around kind of maneuver. But if you want to stay in the hallway, you're either going to have to fly past your extraction targets and open fire, or attempt to shoot past them.
Would I know how easily breakable these windows are?
You imagine that with that firing at them with a sniper rifle, probably.
And how narrow are these hallways? Am I going to
The hallways are about 4 meters wide. You could technically get right past. You could technically go past them or shoot past.
What about the
It
height?
would be really bad
be able
luck
to-
if you hit them.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm trying not to do. Is it possible to fly over them?
Yes, you could fly over them.
then if it's possible to close the distance and get a little bit closer and higher so that they weren't in line of sight, that I was looking over them. That's where I'd like to be.
Okay. Just looking at the...
If it's possible to stay further.
You've got plenty of movement with the drone to finish that action of flying basically up the stairs, down the hallway, and up over them.
If I can stay further back to make it a more difficult shot for my enemies, though, it's like that sweet spot where I'm not putting them in danger, but I'm also giving them a more difficult shot because of my distance. That's where I want to be.
Yeah, at this point, you're probably too close for that to be effective, that kind of strategy to be effective.
Okay, I wasn't sure how close they were.
You're 25 meters from the strike team. Your targets are halfway between that, so by the time you close with and get up over them, you're 12 meters away from the strike team, which is...
Okay, yeah. All right, I'll shoot the glass and fly outside them.
All right, so you're going to dodge. You're basically going to take the rest of your action to dodge through one of the open doors to the right of you. You fire a shot which destroys the window and out of the building. So now you're outside of the hospital, and you basically can make an educated guess of where you need to fly back in to get around the other side of these people. So make an make another edge roll. All right. You judge correctly. You fly around and fire another shot, shattering a window, hopefully not hitting any innocent bystanders behind it, and fly through that. And at that point, we're gonna cut back to Boxer. So as you're coming out of the doorway of the room that you're in, and you look to your right, you see two heavily armed men coming up the stairs and turning towards you with raised rifles. They're wearing combat armor, and as they see you, one of them shouts, "Contact left!" And just as he shouts, "Contact left," to your left, you hear a drone approaching, and as you're sort of in that split second trying to figure out who's an enemy, whether the drone's an enemy, you're pretty sure the guys in black are. The drone turns right, flies into another room. You hear gunfire in that room.
The first thing she does is, seeing them raising their rifle, her instinct just triggers and she full defense. In that case, she's gonna run forwards towards... Is there anything in the hallway?
There are gurneys, there are people, there are chairs. Anything that you get behind cover here is probably not going to be great cover and potentially is going to put innocent bystanders at risk.
Nowhere to take cover, so she can just go forward further.
So you turn left and start running?
Yep.
All right. The first guy who rounded the corner opens fire at you. You hear him yell, "Stop!" And as he yells stop, he opens fire. And he is firing a 3-round burst from an HK Urban Combat Rifle. 5 hits, so he misses you with all 3 rounds. Roll an edge test.
Oh, God.
All right. He misses you with all 3 rounds, and none of the bullets in the burst hit anybody else. Diendre, you've got Kaylee on your back, so you're not going to be able to engage them in combat, obviously, unless you want to take a significant penalty. What are you doing? They're to your right. Boxers started running down the hallway to the left away from them.
I think Diendre is just going to follow Boxer and full defense as well. And then I think it's like there's a few phrases that come out of her mouth in breathial, but one word in English, and that's humanus. And it's said with the most venom you could put into a word while you're high on painkillers as possible.
Are you yelling this, or are you just sort of cursing under your breath?
Oh, she's yelling. She doesn't go into combat without yelling.
The first one has already fired a burst around you, and the bullets are striking walls and knocking lights off of the wall, and the light sconces off the walls, and you start running down the hallway. You've only got to cover 12 meters to get to the next stairwell. So you're both going to make that in this turn, almost without running, right?
Oh, wow. She can actually make it in. Running rate of 37.
Yeah, so if you divide that by 3, you're going to make that in this pass
Diendre, what's your running rate?
Mine's 25 because I'm unmodified while running.
Okay, so you're just about there. Diendre, you're running down the hall. You're getting to the stairwell.
Full defense, so dodging and weaving the whole time.
And then the second guy coming up out of the other stairwell opens fire on you with a burst from his combat rifle. Yeah, you're still in short range. Everything's pretty well lit. He's not running, so he doesn't get any negatives. So he just fires a burst at Diendre, and he gets 3 hits. So Diendre, you get to roll your full defense +2.
Gotta love that roll. Dodge +2. 1.
All right, so you got 1 hit.
I am gonna burn an edge on that, and before we do that, we have to check and see if beef it. That's
Good grief.
so 0 on dodge.
Well, you got 1 hit, right? Because you re-rolled your.
I roll edge, and bad luck says it does the opposite of what. So I have a 0.
Ouch. That bad luck attribute or quality is pretty awesome, actually. This is bad for Diendre. She's hurt already.
Oh no.
Yeah, because that is a 1 on the thing. That's when bad luck triggers. If I were to roll anything but a 1, bad luck trigger. But bad luck triggers. So how much damage is it? 8.
He has 3 net hits in that case, and on 5 physical, so he's got a damage value of 8, 0 AP. So it's a damage value of 8. So what's your armor value?
9 ballistic on my property.
So it's stun damage.
It's stun damage. So wait, I need to roll ballistic on my property, right? No modifiers. That's 4.
Yeah, so you roll your body plus your modified armor value, which is just your armor value in this case. And net hits reduce your 4 points of stun. Yeah, it hurts. And actually, you know what? You're going to roll, let's roll an edge test.
Let me check my stupid armor, because I might have resistance if it's electric damage.
It's not. It's gel rounds.
0.
So it doesn't hurt. Kaylee takes 4 points of stun damage. You're carrying Kaylee, and as you're running, you feel the bullets from the burst behind you strike Kaylee. Kaylee's body sort of jerks and twitches as she's hit. And we circle back around to Grimm. You pop back in through the window that you blew out.
Yeah.
There's a couple of nurses lying on the ground. Looks like they're taking cover. And there's a red light flashing on the comm link on the table next to them. You fly through the room and out into the hallway.
All right. Is there a way for me to get into that room and use the doorway as cover, just to be able to peek a shot around that at the back of them?
If you get a pretty good pilot aircraft roll for us, we'll say that you can sort of tilt the helicopter and just sort of poke the gun around the corner.
All right.
All right. You're trying to situate the drone in the doorway. You feel like you've got it adequate. Maybe not great. You see the 2 strike team members. They've got their backs towards you. They've just each have fired off a burst down the hallway at the fleeing figures of the 2 people, or the 3 people actually, that you're supposed to be rescuing. At that time, you're also seeing more people stacked up in the hallway. So you're no more than 10 meters from them, and they haven't noticed.
All right. What I want to do is I want to take aim at I want to take aim at B, because he's probably going to be the easiest shot at that angle.
Okay.
Oh, you get high quality map.
High quality math. Yeah, I want to take aim and go for a leg shot.
All right. So you're doing a called shot?
Yeah, hopefully crippling or reducing that one's movement. All
right. So take aim gives you a +1, and your called shot, if you're trying to. So if you can increase the damage value of your attack from 1 to 4 points, but you take an equivalent negative amount of dice pool modifier to the attack.
I'll add 1.
So that means you take 1 away from your attack roll.
All right, and it's sensor plus gunnery. And I would add the matrix modifier.
Yes. What's the AP of the gun that you're using?
-2.
So he is unaware of you, and he's got his back to you. So he doesn't. I'm going to say that he doesn't actually have a possible defense at this point. So he is not going to be able to defend. So you've got 3 net hits. All right. So he's got 10 armor, so that reduces to 8. And what was the damage rating of the weapon?
7.
7 plus 3 is 10. So he takes 2 physical points of damage.
Isn't it also taking a stun when it's stopped?
The damage value of the weapon exceeds the armor value, so it's physical. All right, so you shoot him in the back with a sniper rifle at close range. Well, no, you shoot him in the leg. He is going to... That was a called shot. There are rules for, like, immobilizing people, but I don't know where they're at right now.
All right.
So we're going to do it like this. He's going to roll his edge, and he got 0 hits. So you hit him in the back of the knee. You see blood spray out, and he yells and goes down. You don't think he's out of the fight permanently, but you've definitely knocked him, probably knocked him out of initiative at this point.
That's good.
Boxer, what are you doing? You can, at this point, continue heading down the stairs. You could turn and open fire on them and cover Diendre.
Right. How far back is Diendre from where I am?
She's right behind you.
Good. So I think throwing a grenade is a simple action, right?
There are other people in the hallway.
Oh, I'm sure. All right. So first of all, she's just dropping at their feet a smoke grenade.
All right.
Don't really have to roll for that one. And I'll cover for the next 4 turns. Smoke across.
All right. So you're basically dropping it at your feet.
Yep. And she's also throwing a flashbang at the attack team's throwing.
Throw weapon is a simple action. Yeah, I would say they're both simple actions because you've still got to pull a pin or at least set a timer on it.
Fair enough.
But you could do both of them as simple actions. So all right, throw your flashbang. Oh, you already did.
A college girl's curiosity, she started it all. Both the guiding fire of a dangerous game. And now Cecile's on the run, trying to clear her name. Welcome to the hard knock sorority, where tech collides with arcane sorcery, fighting for truth under neon lights. They'll rise together through endless nights. Holly the boxer with a cyber edge. Claws cut deep, she walks the razor's ledge. Chris from Equestria, tough yet kind. Facing a world that's so unrefined. Dina searches a path of pain. Her brother's shadow in the acid rain. Proko's revenge of endeavor revealed. He's using Cecile as a weapon concealed. Welcome to the hard knock sorority, where tech collides with arcane sorcery, fighting for truth under neon lights. They'll rise together through endless nights. The scroll's alive, its pulse beats cold. In Auburn town where souls are sold. Tacoma's tides and still homies feel. Through danger and darkness, their fate is sealed.